Hi guys, what's up? For those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Dakota, and today I'm actually going to be doing a book to movie comparison video on 5 Feet Apart by Rachel Lippincott. So Rachel Lippincott actually wrote the book based on the screenplay by Mickey Daughtry and Tobias Iaconis. I think that's how you say his last name. But anyways, yes, the book was fantastic. I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. It was absolutely incredible. It takes a lot for me to rate a book 5 out of 5 stars, but I was obsessed with this book. I was in it from the beginning. I was never bored, and it informed me so much about what cystic fibrosis is, and it's very near and dear to my heart. I'm so happy that they came out with this book and the movie to make people more aware of the disease, because I think it's something that not a lot of people, I think people were familiar, like they recognized the word cystic fibrosis, but they never really knew what the disease was or what it entailed. So I'm happy that they're making more people aware. I have a close friend in my life named Jordan who actually has cystic fibrosis. So I think the book and the movie hit me a little bit harder than some, but it also made me more aware of how important the book and the movie truly were to the cystic fibrosis community. So I am really happy that, again, that they did it. And I was super impressed with the movie as well. I also rated that 5 out of 5 stars. It was missing a couple things from the book, but it was so well done, and the actors did such an amazing job. Like, Cole Sprouse did such a fantastic job delivering such raw emotion as well, that I cried in some parts in the movie that I didn't cry in for the book. So that was pretty shocking for me. So I was very, very, very happy with that. I would absolutely recommend both the book and the movie to anyone. So it's actually, the story is about 2 CFers who can't get within 6 feet of each other, because when 2 CFers get within 6 feet of each other, it actually says it in the book. So I'll quote it directly from the book as to why they can't get within 6 feet. "We can't get too close to each other for cystic fibrosis patients. Cross-infection from certain bacteria strains is a huge risk. One touch between 2 CFers can literally kill the both of them." So yeah, that about explains that. So it's about a girl named Stella and a boy named Will who both have cystic fibrosis, and they end up falling in love with each other. But it's basically like, goes through their struggle of not being able to touch each other and how important human touch really is. And it sheds some light on cystic fibrosis as well, which is absolutely incredible. So I'm going to go through some things in the book that were not in the movie, so just beware guys, because there are from this point on going to be some spoilers. So if you plan to read the book and you don't want to be spoiled, don't continue watching this video, and if you plan to go see the movie and you haven't seen it yet, don't continue watching this video because you're also going to be a little bit spoiled. So, things in the book that weren't in the movie. So the first thing I noticed that was in the book but wasn't in the movie is Will in the book is watching this YouTube video of Stella and her sister Abby, where they're at a bar and they're singing, and it's for this like charity event, this like Save the Planet charity event, and he describes how like carefree and beautiful Stella looks in the video, and I was really upset that that wasn't included in the movie, because I think it would have been a nice touch, and I think it also would have made the audience feel closer to Abby, who is not in the movies because she actually passes away, and I think it would make them feel more sympathetic towards Stella's situation. Another thing that was in the book that was not in the movie was there was more relationship development between Will and his mother. So in the movie, it kind of explains how his mom is making him go through all of these treatments, and he just wants to quit doing the treatments, and he wants to go and live his life because he has cystic fibrosis, but he also has B cepacia, which means that he doesn't qualify for a lung transplant. So he wants to take what little time he has left to go and travel and see the world and not spend all of his time in hospitals. His 18th birthday is coming up, and they're disagreeing about whether he should keep doing treatments or whether he should go out and live on his own and do his own thing. Also, there was a big fight between Will and his mother in the book that wasn't in the movie, where Will basically accuses his mother of not seeing him for who he is and only seeing the disease, which I could definitely sympathize with. I feel like if somebody has a disease like this, they're so broadly associated with it that people sometimes won't see them for who they really are, and that makes me really upset for them. I can understand how that would be really, really, really hard for Will in this book, but his mother does see him for who he is, because after they get in this fight, he opens his birthday present from her, and it's this really old cartoon from one of his old favorite cartoonists. And then he just feels like absolute crap because he just got in this huge fight with his mom, but she bought him the most Will birthday present in the entire world, and he's so thrilled with it. So yeah, there's more conflict between Will and his mom in the books. Another thing is a scene between Poe and Will in the hospital chapel, which I found was so important for Poe's background story. It's basically a scene between Poe and Will where they grow closer as friends, and I did think it was really important to include in the movie. So it's basically Poe's getting off the phone with his family in Brazil, and Will is trying to comfort him, and he offers him money to go and visit his family in Brazil because Poe doesn't have the financial funds to go visit his family or to continue his treatments after he turns 18. So it's a really defining moment for their friendship, and I wish it was included in the movie. There was also a sweet moment between Stella and Julie in the books. So you don't really see it as much in the movies, but in the books, Stella is kind of wary about the fact that Julie's pregnant. And I think she's almost jealous a little bit because a lot of CFers are infertile and they can't actually conceive children on their own. I think that Stella's feeling a little bit envious towards Julie, but then when she gets out of surgery, there's a really sweet moment in the book between Julie and Stella. So I'll actually read you the quote from the book. Stella says, "You get to hold your own baby," I say, sighing sleepily, sadly. Julie meets my gaze. She sits down on the edge of my bed, letting out a long sigh. "I'm going to need help, Stella. It's just me." She smiles at me, her blue eyes warm. "Can't think of anyone I would trust more." I reach out, trying to be as gentle as possible as my exhausted hand pats her stomach once, twice. Nailed it. I give her a big grin. I'm going to be the best aunt ever. Super cute. I think it was a really defining moment for them, and I would have really liked to see it in the movie. Another thing that's in the books but not in the movie is there's more conflict between Stella's parents. So her parents actually end up getting a divorce when her older sister Abby dies, and it kind of ruins their marriage. And in the books, there's a time when Stella's going into surgery to get her tube replaced, and her parents are arguing. And so there's definitely more conflict between her parents. And then actually at the end of the book, her parents get back together, and you also don't see that in the movies, but her parents, it's implied because her parents are like cuddling during her lung replacement, but it's actually like definite in the books, like they absolutely get back together. So these are very little things that I noticed in the movie that were different, but so they were very minor, but I still noticed them. I still picked them up. So for Stella and Will's first date, Stella is in the book said to be wearing a skimpy PJ shorts and a tank top, and in the movie she's wearing a nightgown. So I know that's not really a big deal, like it's like the smallest difference ever, but I did notice it, so I thought I'd put it in there. Also, when Stella runs up to the NICU because she's scared that she's going to be caught by Barb, and she lays down and pretends to be asleep. In the book, Barb puts a blanket over Stella, and in the movie that doesn't happen. Also, the drowning scene in the book I found was a lot more emotional than in the movie. In the book, Stella hears Abby's voice while she's drowning, and it's such a beautiful moment for her because Abby dies from drowning, so Stella's really worried that she died in pain. So when she drowns and Will resuscitates her, basically, her first thought was, oh, it didn't hurt. So it's like this weight lifted off her chest for Abby's death because she knows that her sister wasn't in a bunch of pain. Also, there's a time when in her head Abby is saying to her, he's breathing for you, like he has no breath and he's giving it all to you, he's breathing for you, because Will has to give her mouth to mouth. And I thought that was really beautiful. It showed just how much Will loved Stella. He was willing to do anything for her, and he cares about her so much, which is why it results in him leaving in the end. The biggest pet peeve for me between the book and movie was the final scene in the book. It didn't happen in the movie. Like, I know that in the movie it ended so well. It was very emotional and raw, and the light scene was just so incredible. But in the book, there's like an 8 months later scene where Will's in the airport and he's flying out with his best friend to one of the places on his bucket list, and he actually runs into Stella, and they don't say anything to each other, they just look at each other and they walk towards each other, and then they're 6 feet apart, and then Stella takes that one extra step, and that's how the book ends. And I'm happy they ended it the way they did in the movie because it was so fantastic, but I think it's going to leave a lot of the people that watch the movie questioning if they ever see each other again, and I was satisfied in the book because I find out that they do. One of the main pros in the movie, though, which is why I rated it 5 out of 5 stars, were Lee Richardson and Cole Sprouse. They did such a fantastic job with this movie. I've seen them act both in a lot of different things, but none of them even compare to their acting in this movie. I was blown away. They could not have picked 2 better people to play Stella and Will, and I was so happy. And like I said at the beginning of the video, I did cry at certain parts in the movie strictly because of their performance and their raw emotion, and it was just so incredible. I was so happy. So in conclusion, I would say some of the book pros were that there's extra detail. You learn way more about CF, I find, in the book than you do in the movie, although you are properly informed in both the movie and the book. Like, I think they're both great for the CF community. And in the book, it's actually told in Will and Stella's point of view, so I found in the movie it was more based around Stella, but in the book it's like equally Stella and Will, so if you do want to like read more about Will and see more about Will, I would read the book 100%. I would read the book anyways because it's so beautifully written. I was unbelievably blown away and impressed with both. So happy with both. So that concludes my video about 5 Feet Apart. I hope it encourages you guys to go watch the movie or read the book. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to see you guys in my next video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe to my channel. That would mean the world to me. And I will link all my social media content down below just in case you guys want to follow me on there as well. Thank you. Bye.